Hi.
Hello. We're on page 376 of In Search of Christian Freedom by Franz, and we're halfway through the story of Rud Persson and his wife, Swedish Jehovah's Witnesses, who are under accusation of being contaminated by their involvement with the Red Cross. Mm-hmm. Ray goes on, during all this time, from the occasion in May when the overseer's brief inquiry was made as to whether Rud had joined the Red Cross, until now in October, nothing had been said to him about this investigation. Rud's father and younger brother were on the body of elders, but said nothing to him, doubtless feeling that confidentiality did not permit his being made aware that he might face a judicial hearing. However, when they received the branch letter of October 15th, the elders, having consulted the circuit overseer again, acted rapidly. On October 18th, the presiding overseer phoned Rud, informing him that the society wanted him to answer 5 questions in the presence of 2 elders. He also asked if Rud's wife had become a Red Cross member. At the meeting, Rud was called on to answer these 5 questions. 1. What is your motive for joining the Red Cross? 2. Are you of the opinion that what the Red Cross stands for is good and proper? 3. Are you aware of the program of the Red Cross for blood transfusions? 4. Are you aware that the Red Cross is involved in mediation between the nations? And 5. Do you intend to continue your membership of the Red Cross?
His reply, in essence, were these. 1. His motive was to be informed of help projects of the Red Cross and to make appropriate contributions. He referred the elders to an article in the December 8, 1976 Awake, which, while presenting many negative factors about charitable organizations, stated that it was not necessarily wrong to contribute to them. He also said he found the matter analogous to the organization's stand regarding labor unions and certain types of employment, where negative factors were viewed as balanced out by positive ones. 2. His answer to the second question was that he sympathized with the impartial help the Red Cross gave to the needy, felt it was good and proper. He then called the elders' attention to this statement in the June 1st, 1918 issue of the Watchtower. Quote, a Christian to whom may have been presented the perverted viewpoint that the Red Cross work is only the aiding of that killing which is against his conscience, cannot help the Red Cross. Then he gains the broader viewpoint that the Red Cross is the embodiment of helping the helpless, and he finds himself able and willing to help the Red Cross according to ability and opportunity.
So ironic that we should be quoting here from a Watchtower under the regime of J.F. Rutherford, where it sounds far more reasonable and balanced, the response. 1918 Watchtower. So the First World War is still going on when this information about the Red Cross and its good work is available to Jehovah's Witnesses, but it's not the rigid viewpoint of later. So he goes on, he added, that is, that Rud answered that he felt this change from a perverted viewpoint to a broader viewpoint was even more justified today. As regards blood transfusions, this is his answer to number 3, he pointed out that in most cases the actual transfusions are made by hospitals, and that he felt it unlikely that the society would boycott hospitals because of their large use of blood. Many witnesses worked at hospitals having blood programs. He reminded the elders of the society's ruling that a witness doctor might administer a blood transfusion to a non-witness patient requesting one, without being subjected to judicial action. Point 4. As for alleged mediation between nations, he stated that the Red Cross was not political, its role as mediator being restricted solely to humanitarian matters. He again used the analogy of labor unions, worldly organizations to which thousands of witnesses belong. In contrast with the Red Cross, unions are often engaged in political activity, yet membership is not condemned by the society. And point 5, as to whether he intended to remain a member of the Red Cross, he stated that from what he could see, this was in harmony with the Society's publications. He said the question had no meaning unless it were first shown that such membership was incompatible with Christianity. Having received no information to that effect, he saw no conflict of interest. That's the end of the response of Rud.
So now Ray continues. It is worth noting the source of the questions Rud Persson faced. They were supplied to the local elders by the Swedish branch office of the Watchtower Society, and the branch office members stated that they had received direction on the matter from the governing body in Brooklyn. It must be assumed that the information the branch office supplied in its letter to the elders drew upon that governing body direction. It is also worth noting that their information was guilty of numerous misrepresentations, shallow reasoning. The elders transmitted Rud's replies to the branch office, along with a report containing adverse allegations about him, even extending to the school conditions of his children. They did not supply him with a copy, but he was able to obtain one and sent a detailed refutation of each of their allegations to the branch office.
Months passed with no word from the branch office. Finally, on April 8, 1987, Rud phoned the branch office and spoke to two members of the branch office committee, Aka Carlson and Rune Gran. Carlson laughingly stated that, quote, the organization could not tell the Friends what to do regarding a matter like this, end of quote. Compare the clear difference between that disclaimer and what the letter which the branch office had sent to the congregation elders actually said. Rune Gran said no action would be taken against Rud, that the Brooklyn headquarters had indicated that membership in the Red Cross might only have consequences as to a man's holding the office of elder or ministerial servant in the congregation. He likened it to the matter of growing a beard.
After waiting yet another month for some expression from his local body of elders, Rud informed his brother, an elder, of his conversation with the men at the branch office. He found that the local elders had never received any reply to their letter to the branch office. To their credit, a few expressed relief on learning what the branch office men had said. Rud personally found it unbelievable that a professedly Christian organization could resort to these tactics, subjecting persons to such scrutiny and interrogation simply because they felt moved by what they read in Luke 10, verses 29 to 37, to engage in humanitarian activity.
And that's the Good Samaritan, which we'll get to in a minute.
Mm-hmm. I am inclined to believe that not many witnesses would have felt equipped to present as able a response as was given by this man in Sweden. Had they not, they might well have found themselves facing disfellowshipping action as having violated their neutrality based on the organization's completely false claim that the Red Cross performs a large part of its work directly or indirectly in conflict with thoughts outlined in Isaiah 2:4.
Isaiah 2:4 again is the text about what one day the nations will do in beating their swords into plowshares.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that extensively before, so we'll link you to that video about Ray's analysis of what's wrong with doing Isaiah 2 verse 4 as a matter of policy.
But I thought it was a good comparison here, or at least a good account of what motivated them to decide to do the contributing in the first place, was that they were moved by Luke chapter 10 verses 29 to 37, which is the story of the Good Samaritan. And in the account you have two religious people seeing this man beaten up and left for dead at the side of the road, and they cross or pass by him. So we're not told why, but you can just imagine they either think he's a Samaritan, I don't have anything to do with him, or, they're busy with their religious activities.
But they're not just two religious people. They are a priest
Yeah, and a
and a
Levite.
Levite, the as it were the cream of the crop of the true religion, as we would have looked at, as the listeners to the Good Samaritan at the time would have thought of them as these are the epitome of the true religion. But
So we have to remember it's Jesus telling this story, and who does he commend as being the good person or the good neighbor? So I just thought we'd read 36 and 37. Who of these three seemed to you to have made himself neighbor to the man that fell among the robbers? He said, and that was the person Jesus was talking to, the one that acted mercifully toward him. Jesus then said to him, go your way and be doing the same yourself.
But the one who acted mercifully is a member of the wrong religion.
Yeah.
The
So
Samaritans
yeah.
were, as far as the Jews were concerned, the Samaritans were a false religion.
Mm-hmm.
So Christ is actually commending the good deeds of people who
In
don't
another
have the
religion.
true religion.
Yeah.
In contrast with people who ostensibly represent the true religion.
Mm-hmm. So we thought we'd link you to a series we did on asking about true religion, actually. So
Are Jehovah's Witnesses asking the wrong question when they
Yeah.
say, how do you identify the true religion? Well, that's not the question here in the Good Samaritan, and it's not the question in the New Testament either.
yeah. So and it's not the way Jesus would have seen things.
So in addition to that, which we'll put up on the screen, the link to our Jehovah's Witnesses asking the wrong question, next time we'll be dealing with another example of misfire of justice, shall we say, this time in Athens, Greece. So it's got the ironic heading, In the Cradle of Democracy.
Okay.